as I'm looking out this window, I forever dream I can shine a light up on everything. They say the obstacles are easy, but it never seems like. Hello, hello, hello. Dreaming just awake to a beautiful light, yeah. Hello, hello, hello. Not a fly during the day, but a star by night, yeah. Hello, hello, hello. I take what I can take and I start to fly, yeah. Hello, hello, hello.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Jimmy McGill, and this is
Chris Dickey.
Yeah. Hey, we're a couple of people in long-term recovery from addiction.
Two wild and crazy guys. That's what I thought we were going to start talking about the SNL script.
SNL. Oh.
Saturday Night Live. Anyway, sorry.
Okay. Well, it throws me off. Like, he does that because my brain doesn't pop on all cylinders. Hey, we got a great show for you. We did have a guest. Unfortunately, last-minute cancellation.
Had an emergency. We understand. We can roll with it.
I hate it.
Yeah, we hope that Clay's well. She says she's well. She's okay, but something came up, and we understand.
Yeah, absolutely.
That happens. But we're still going to talk about harm reduction. It's an
We
important
are.
topic.
And if you haven't already hit the like button, please click the link that says the Recovery Clinic. This is where people like Chris and I can stay connected, right? Recovery is the solution to the addiction crisis. And during COVID-19, that solution was threatened. So social media, KARK, DHS, they gave us an avenue to keep people in recovery connected so that we don't return to drug use. And so if you need information pertaining to addiction or solutions, this is the place.
And not only that, Jimmy, we've experienced lots of conversations with other people who've never experienced any kind of mental health challenges like anxiety, depression, even crossing lines into substance use, trying to change the way they feel through the current environment.
Right.
So the Recovery Clinic does just that. It keeps us connected. It provides support and accountability. If you or a loved one knows someone who's battling or struggling with addiction or just needs some help, some general help, maybe you see someone slipping into some isolation, kind of withdrawing from friends and family, take a look at artakeback.org. It's a place where you can go find prevention, recovery, and treatment resources. Or you can reach out to us directly at the Recovery Clinic Facebook page, and we can have a conversation with you that way and find you some resources.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you want to know more about my personal story or Chris Dickey's personal story, we're both on Facebook. You can follow our pages as well, Jimmy McGill Live and Recover Out Loud with Chris Dickey, where we share our lives to basically encourage people. And you can message any one of the three pages and get resources, bukus of resources.
So you ready to start talking about last night's debate and get all political on them?
What? No.
No, I'm just kidding.
No. I
I'm just
almost
kidding.
ran out the studio.
I know, you see,
Ricky,
Jimmy.
what do I do?
Jimmy.
Cut. Are we live?
Okay. Hey,
Golly.
I'm just teasing. Ashley, I love when you say hello, good morning, light workers. That feels good. That feels good to be a light worker. Welcome, Willie. Good morning to you, Natasha, and everybody that's watching. Thank you for joining us. We're going to talk about harm reduction. If you don't know what harm reduction is, we're going to define that. But before we get into today's topic, we need your help. Jimmy and I, we consider ourselves to be somewhat amateur wordsmiths.
Where do you...
So
Dude,
we can be good with...
just threw me in that category with him. Like, I never
He
said
would say
that.
he's a professional wordsmith.
No.
Well, anyway, here's what we're going to do. Jimmy and I have talked about a little challenge that we want to do, just a friendly deal.
He mentioned stuff to me, Ricky, and says we talked about
it. We need your help to give us a recovery word, a recovery topic.
Okay.
Jimmy and I are going to write a poem or whatever. What do you call it? Some people call it slam poetry. Some people call it...
I don't know how to do slam
I don't
poetry.
either, but I'm just going to write some stuff down, and you're going to write some stuff down, and then we're going to read it to you next week, and you're going to vote.
What are they voting on?
Who wins?
Oh, it's a competition.
It's a competition.
Oh, so it's like rapping without words.
Rapping without words.
No, there's no such thing as rapping without words. Rapping without music. I see how I tricked him.
He did.
He just fell right into it. Cattle, I'm telling you. My bad, y'all. I got a sense of humor this morning.
Say the word silk 5 times as fast as you can.
Silk, 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 silk.
What do cows drink?
Water.
Oh, he did. Oh,
Hey.
Oh, he went.
Hey.
He made the M.
I don't just look like this, Ricky. I can think. Man.
Man, I've got to give you some credit.
What'd you think I was going to say?
What you wanted to say, milk. You almost said it. Your lips
Man,
even formed.
listen, you see how easy it is to trick somebody to make them think you're playing by their rules? I never said milk, but I do drink a lot of it. I'm not a cow, though.
All right. Pros. Joe Ray, yes, that's what we're going to do. We're going to do pros. So, in honor of wrapping up Recovery Month, all month of September, today's the 30th, and last day of Recovery Month. So, Jimmy and I need your help to pick a topic. So, throw some recovery-related topics that you want to hear us write some poetry on, and we're going to read them to you next week. Fun little game.
Okay. Yeah.
So we'll be looking,
So
and maybe your
pick?
recovery topic can be chosen, one that we agree on.
Okay, so we're going to have different topics, or we're both
I
going to
think
have
we're
the
gonna have the same one. I think that's cooler because to see what that word means from our own perspective.
Yeah, guys, give me a good word that I can rhyme. Vowels,
Someone said pathways. That's the first one. That's a good one.
Pathways.
That might be good.
That is a good one.
All right, keep them coming. And so,
Share the video, guys. If you haven't already shared it, share this so we can carry a message of hope to anyone with a mobile device. Right? The dope house didn't close during COVID, so recovery can't close. But a safe way for Chris and I to be able to do this is the platform that you give us. So this show is only as successful as you, the viewers, make it. So please share this. Write a post when you share it. Call on your Facebook friends to view the video. We love you guys. We need your support in this. So, all right.
Willie and Jen, redemption and crossroads. So we got 3 words so far: pathways, redemption, and crossroads. Thank you. Those are some good ones.
I'm gonna
keep them coming.
Jen Schiller, she's been listening to Bone Thugs. See you at the crossroads.
So and then Willie must be listening to Bob Marley. Got that redemption song in his head.
Right. Okay. Well, let's
right.
let's do it. Let's dive in, man. What do we got?
Harm
going?
reduction. Harm reduction is what you would consider to be opposite of abstinence. There's in the treatment industry, in the recovery world, you've got abstinence, which is the complete cessation of any mood-altering chemicals, right?
Okay.
And so harm reduction is defined on 2 different levels. So harm reduction is another way to define that is to reduce economical, societal, and physical harms that come with using substances.
Okay.
They don't. This defined way is they don't look at stopping current substance use. They're only interested in reducing physical, economical, and lifestyle.
Right.
And they don't focus on. And then the other definition of harm reduction is to manage moderation. So reduce the intake of the substances being used, while also looking at helping reduce physical. When I say physical health, I'm talking about like clean needles. There's a lot of comorbidities when you're sharing needles, when you're putting needles, the same needle in your veins more than once, it becomes dull and you can get you can get sick from doing that. So harm reduction, it provides clean needles to reduce the spread of other illnesses.
Right.
And so
there's a lot of different ways.
There's a lot of
harm
yeah.
reduction, though, right? Like it's not just safe needle exchanges or safe injection sites. MAT is harm reduction. Vivitrol is harm reduction. Suboxone is harm reduction. Condoms and safe sex is harm reduction.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what else?
Well, you continue. I mean, you don't. I've always said when I'm trying to explain to someone that doesn't understand addiction, it's incremental. You don't start out on Skid Row with a whole bunch of other ailments.
Right.
The more I continue to go down that path, the more I open myself up to other things, right?
Right.
And so, a bar is a harm reduction. Having that's like a safe injection site. It's a place to drink. Not everyone thinks that bars are harm reduction, but that's why they were built, to keep people so they can monitor, so they can be at one place,
right,
and hopefully not on the roads. But
so a bar for me was never harm reduction. I got into a lot of trouble in beer joints and bars and clubs, and but I was not the type of person that could successfully use or consume alcohol or any of that.
Yeah, I think sometimes you have where you need a clinician or a medical professional to provide a diagnosis, because for me, I'm complete abstinent. There's no moderation management for a guy like me.
Me too.
I smell it in my mind. Does something.
Yeah,
it goes there.
I go from 0 to 100 like that. There's no, at this point in my life and my recovery, were I to return to drug use, there would be no casual cruise control. It would be initial use, full-fledged insanity, period. That would be my scale.
No breaks.
No.
I know, that's me too.
And I'm not lucky enough to die. I would lose everything I've got.
Drag other people through the mud.
Drag everybody with me until jail is the only way to handle someone like me when I'm in full addiction.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I've got a history that proves that to me. And I've fought very hard for the life I have.
Yeah.
So for me, and I tried that,
yeah.
right? Like I remember trying to stop and slow down and manage my use every way I could.
Of course,
sure you did too.
Yeah. It's that's why I was so delusional, thinking I could do that.
Yeah. My sponsor said he liked bong hits. He said the problem is when I once I take a bong hit, I need a beer to watch, because my mouth gets dry, and then I get to remembering how good those mushrooms used to taste.
Yeah.
And now I'm tripping, drinking, and smoking, and I need something to go to bed on.
One allows me to do the other, and so forth.
Yeah, there's always a connector there.
Harm reduction is so critical for individuals that are kind of the throwaway people of our society, right?
Right.
You've got people that are just looked down upon.
Right.
You've got people that are judged, condemned, and for some people, the stark reality is wet brain.
Yeah.
What wet brain is you can turn a cucumber into a pickle, but you can't reverse it. You can't turn a pickle into a cucumber.
Once you deal.
Yeah.
Right.
And so fighting for these people, for their rights, for their place in society, and not, forgetting about them, and keeping them safe from other illnesses, is important. We can't forget about them.
Right. Right.
But it's easy to, because they don't look like everybody. It's different.
I know people who got clean through harm reduction. Ryan Hampton, Mary Bonner, right?
There's a ton.
Yeah, there's a ton of people who got clean through MAT and harm reduction. So.
I'm going to read something from Jen Schuler here real quick.
Okay.
Principles of harm reduction.
Okay.
Thank you, Jen, by the way. 1, accepts for better or worse that licit and illicit drug use is a part of our world and chooses to work to minimize its harmful effects rather than simply ignore or condemn or force certain other principles on someone.
Okay.
It's kind of like meet them where they're at
Yeah.
instead of giving the ultimatums, you do this or else.
Right.
And then number 2, understands drug use as a complex, multifaceted phenomenon that encompasses a continuation of behaviors from severe use to total abstinence and acknowledges that some ways of using drugs are clearly safer than others. That's where, you know, you have some conflict in the recovery world, where those two kind of intersect, right?
So that's where my conflict finds resolution, right there in what she just read, or you just read.
Yeah,
Like,
so
if the drug use is gonna happen, we can do our part to make it as safe as possible. That's it in a nutshell.
I think what this is saying, though, is like, if, Jimmy, you're an intravenous heroin user, so obviously that's more dangerous than maybe some marijuana.
Right.
Logically, yeah. However, we just talked about I smoke a joint, then a beer
I'm
sounded
off to
good,
the
and then I'm
races.
using
Yeah.
heroin again.
Yeah.
Intravenous.
Same day.
Same day.
Yeah.
Same sentence.
Yeah. For me.
So
that-
for
that
certain
wouldn't work.
people,
it may work.
that's why we need a clinician to kind of, you know, bring the ASAM to the table to diagnose what severity level the substance use disorder is, what level of harm reduction. So that's where I think it's the best way to start, meeting someone where they're at,
Right.
and then properly diagnosing and providing practical next steps.
Yeah.
Because you tell me back then, so I went to a psychiatrist after this tragedy happened back in Oregon, and you know I'm seeking ways to change how I feel through gambling.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's not a substance to me at the time. I'm losing everything that active alcoholism did. All right.
Yeah.
But I'm in denial about it.
Right.
And I got co-signed by the psychiatrist as, that's, this is harm reduction, and, you go do that because you're not doing these things, right? But it's leading to the same result.
Yeah.
So I was misinformed. And so we got to watch out for that. How do you reconcile that?
Yeah. So what's the good part?
Because I ended up drinking again and losing everything.
Yeah.
And I didn't think that gambling could do that, but it did.
Well, so like I'm just curious of the psychiatrist that told you to go ahead and go gamble.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, so for me, as a person in recovery, I want to be like, that's ridiculous, because you're going to lose everything you've lost. You're going to feel shame, remorse, and you're going to want to change the way you feel, and you're going to do that with a bottle of tequila. May even lead to suicide.
Yeah, I mean,
There's been many people lose a house and home on a 6 or 8 at the casino.
Oh yeah.
And then immediately go try to drown your sorrow in the bottle or a pile of cocaine.
Well, gambling is, to complete the cycle, I have to lose. I have to gamble.
Well,
and
one
and
thing
then
I'm
when
not going to gamble
when
with is my recovery.
Well, that definitely not today.
I ain't rolling the dice, playing the cards, slots, nothing.
Don't.
I will in the
You
casino.
got them scratch
but-
offs?
Yeah, no, I
got
don't do
them
that.
scratch
My
offs?
wife doesn't like that. She don't like that.
Yeah, that Powerball gets up there about 750.
Yeah.
No. But I'm saying, you know what I mean? Like,
Right. So what is let's
addiction, that's what I'm saying, is cunning, baffling, and powerful. It's
Yeah, it's
looking
tricky.
for a way to trip me up.
Right. So, and we know it's incurable, right? Like, so based on studies from the leading medical minds in the world today, addiction is a brain disorder, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's incurable, fatal, and progressive when active, correct?
I would even say, I mean, it's
even not
progressing right now. So let's say I'm
Absolutely.
coming up on 13 years, right?
Right.
So if I went,
Congratulations.
thank you. If I went and used today, I wouldn't start where I stopped.
No.
I would start
Full-fledged.
13 years of progression.
Yeah, and so that's and
And people-
let me tag a point right there. What Chris just said is he's been abstinent, living his best life for 13 years. Were he to pick up and use again, he would immediately try to use the same amounts of drugs that he previously used, right? I'm going just as hard as I always went. Problem is, we no longer have that tolerance, which is a leading factor and contributor to why people returning to daily drug use overdose like that. You know, this person's been clean 10 years, went and used once, and they're dead.
Yeah, no joke.
Yeah. I just wanted to add that in there. I'm sorry. I didn't
No,
mean to
that's
interrupt
great.
you.
Thank you for doing that. I mean, that's another example of people coming out of prison
Absolutely. And so,
and boom.
and it's also, that's validation of the disease. That's the mental obsession. So the two components that make up all addiction are a mental obsession and a physical compulsion, period. That's it. There's a whole bunch of core behaviors that accompany those two things. And if you really want to understand addiction, take a look at OCD. You know what I mean? Obsessive compulsive disorder. Same everything. Underlying, we take a minute thought and turn it into something so catastrophic that we hold on to it for days, weeks, months. Only thing we can think about. The same thing when the drug becomes the driving force of our life. And so that obsession, somebody gets released after doing 15 calendar years from prison. Why is the first thing on their mind to go get a shot of dope? After 15 calendar years, you would think that this person's got it. He's been clean. He hasn't used the entire time. That's the pull of the obsession. There's nothing in it's almost phenomenal.
Yeah,
You know, it's
amazing. You know, addiction doesn't happen just because I stop using. I mean, recovery doesn't happen just because I stop using.
no.
That's when addiction happens. That's
Right.
when things get real. I thought if I stop drinking, I'll stop having these consequences.
Yeah.
Well, it's true for hangovers and things like that, but
Yeah, you were still broke.
Go
You were still unmanageable.
crazy.
Yeah.
You know,
Facts.
and,
Yeah. Big facts.
yeah. So I have a lot of respect for harm reductionists that are in the trenches every day, meeting people where they're at.
Yeah.
And there's some literature that describes me in my active alcoholism as an unlovable creature.
Yeah.
And
I can't
with
imagine
all of-
Chris not being a cuddler. Like, who could love Chris?
unlovable creature.
Me,
Okay.
I'm unlovable. You're.
I just, burned every bridge, didn't like myself,
Yeah.
and was just couch surfing. Whoever would take me.
Tell that story that when you got 4 years clean and you're in the meeting.
That's another powerful part of addiction. But let me say, I've got a lot of respect for harm reductionists that go and see past that unlovable creature and see the human.
Yeah. So
Let me say,
Go ahead.
my dad, we had a memorial service
Uh-huh.
this past Sunday. And towards the end, the last decade or more, alcoholism really started to rob him of the things that are good in his life.
Right.
Okay? And so we had boundaries. And I got to tell you, Jimmy, that when I'm sitting there watching the slideshow of my dad and the things that he loved, the hobbies, like playing music, guitar, cooking for the community, I got to see a different perspective that I hadn't. I got to see my dad again, from when I was growing up.
Right.
And he was a good dude.
Yeah.
He loved community, he loved his family, he loved cooking, loved
Yeah.
helping people. And harm reductionists do this on a daily basis. They go and meet these people where they're at, and they're able to separate the addiction from the person. and they're able to see the human.
Yeah, no.
And it's what we do on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And so that's where harm reduction and advocacy really can blend and be a powerful combination.
Well, they go a little deeper than that.
They
too,
do,
though, Chris. Like the Central Arkansas Harm Reduction Project, they go to the homeless encampments. They take food.
That's what I'm saying.
A couple of times a week. They go. I know that.
They just check in.
Yeah. Well,
on the forgotten ones.
We met with Clay last week, and they've given out 2,000 Narcan kits to the homeless population in Little Rock and Central Arkansas.
What I was hoping to talk to her about today was family, how they work with families.
Yeah.
And maybe at some other time we can talk to her about that. But so here now I'm going to take us back to addiction and how powerful it is. Okay.
Okay.
I live in a really safe spot out in Saline County.
Okay.
Living with my mother-in-law. We've sold our house. We moved in with her. We're developing our next steps. You know my mother-in-law, Teresa.
Yeah.
Very safe place to live.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's not even cough syrup with alcohol in it. There's nothing in this house.
Okay.
And I'm in the garage going through some of my dad's things.
Uh-huh.
And I see his wallet and wanted to make sure that we had his social security card and all that stuff to put it into storage if we ever needed it, right?
Yeah.
So I opened that up, and there's a little baggie tied off with 3 white pills in it.
Yikes.
There it is. Why do we do the things that we do on a daily basis, guys? Why do we put forth effort in our recovery?
Because those moments come. They come out of nowhere. Like
there it is, right there in my little safe spot. I'm alone in the garage. Boom. And if I'm not taking care of myself,
yeah, you wouldn't have made it.
I'm going to have a moment of insanity. And you just asked me to talk about that.
Yeah.
I'm sitting in a 12-step meeting.
Yeah. I love this story. You guys are going to die.
I've got
fabulous.
4 years sober.
Yeah.
I'm living my best life.
Best life.
Really, I'm not taking care of myself.
I mean, you're not CEO, Chris.
No, I'm not taking care of myself. I'm dry. I am.
4 years dry.
I'm sitting in a room isolating.
Right.
You know how we can do that. We can sit in a room isolating.
Okay.
And I'm angry. Just an angry guy right at that time.
Okay.
And there's a guy. So over where I got sober in Independence County. I'm in this room, and so you get to know everybody. There's not a lot of visitors, and so there's this new guy from out of town.
New guy, just came in the meeting.
That's all I need.
Chris doesn't know this guy. He's a new face, Ricky. New face.
Yeah. So he looks at me funny.
Uh-oh.
And I'm like, that's all I need, man.
Prison look.
That's all I need. He's plotting.
He hit him with the stink eye.
He's doing something. He's up to something.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
because he looked at you.
Someone put a hit out on me. That's my next thought. I went from the guy looks at me funny to did someone put a hit out on me?
With 4 years sober.
Okay. What I did next is the insanity of addiction. I entertained that thought.
Facts. Big facts.
I didn't just say, Chris, that's ridiculous.
Right.
I said, Chris, that's ridiculous. But do you want to live, man? Because you don't want to take that risk.
Yeah.
So I got up out of my chair. I walked to the end of the building, hit that back door, and ran like Jason Bourne. I knew how far I could run before I just passed
fast
out.
Too. Chris,
I did.
Chris runs marathons, so I know. I bet you got on down the block.
I did get down on the block.
So
my hands are on my knees. I'm out of breath.
Yeah.
And I sit down, and I'm like, what just happened? So I text the guy I was sitting right next to, and I told him what I just did. Had a moment of clarity after my moment of insanity. So he says, come back to the meeting.
Yeah.
The only person out to kill you is you. So I didn't want to do that. I'm like, hey, I already messed up. We'll get it tomorrow. Yeah. We'll get it tomorrow. I'm not going back there. But I did, man. I did. Because I trusted people that had my best interest. So I had to walk back in there, shame and all, feeling guilty, feeling stupid.
Yeah.
I walk back in there, I sit down, and I see this guy looking at me again. and totally just normal. Like, hey,
Complete different.
he's
life.
not mugging.
Maybe
me
you're
mugging
not.
him.
Maybe you're not a serial killer. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah. Just a
So,
regular guy.
I got to tell you guys that are watching right now.
But if that same guy found what he found in the garage, different story possible.
I guarantee you'd ate all 3 pills.
I didn't even look at what they were. They could have been ibuprofen. I don't know.
Don't matter.
Never will. I threw them on the ground and
Flushed 'em.
stomped them.
Yeah, facts. So Chris was able to take that when he called his sponsor and said the only person that's going to kill you is you. And I personally know for a fact he was able to take what he had and give that away because he gave it to me. In the beginning of COVID, like I was riding, I was a champ, man. I was prize fighting.
He's
dude.
green. Remember we did those little, the green color?
Yeah, I was Jimmy
the mental health
Greenheart.
check.
Yeah, you guys remember the what color heart are you? And green was fabulous.
Jimmy McGreen.
Yeah, I was Jimmy McGreen heart every day. Like it was life was good. I was living my best life in COVID. I was managing money. Had gas prices were cheap. Freeway wasn't crowded. There was no waiting lines in the store. I was loving it. And the meetings were Zoom. You know, you couldn't really go to church or 12-step stuff, and
It was new and exciting.
yeah,
a little transition.
It was different. A couple months went by, and I was staring out the window like a little lost puppy out of a rainstorm, and all of a sudden I was depressed out of nowhere, and I've never in my life suffered from depression, and I was anxious. Like it all of a sudden it felt like I was walking around expecting gloom, like I was waiting on the clouds to fall in on me, the floor to drop out, something bad was fixing to happen.
Boom, just out of
and
nowhere.
there was no explanation for it. Like I was in a constant sense of doom and gloom.
And you're still Jimmy McGreen.
Yeah.
Like there's no reason. Everything was the same.
Right, and
That's
so,
why how do we do that to ourselves,
I don't
man?
know,
It's crazy.
but I took a leap of faith, and I told Chris, I was like, dude, I feel like there was tears in my eyes. Like for the first time in my life, I thought I may have been suicidal. Like I was experiencing all this emotional mental health stuff. And I was like, Chris, I feel like something bad is fixing to happen to me. People are plotting on me. I feel like everyone's talking about me. And Chris said, dude, the only person trying to get you is you. You need to step up and go get your recovery before you get high and die. And I did, and all of a sudden things got better the
Amazing
next day.
how that happens.
Right, but like that social isolation came from social distancing.
Were we doing the recovery clinic then?
We were.
Yeah.
We
That's
were.
right, we were, yeah.
To prevent stuff
So,
like that.
so I was not a green starting out.
No,
I
he
was where
like
you were at.
Chris sometimes. Blue Heart sometimes.
I don't know. Is there any color that starts with D?
We're on there.
We are on the air.
We're on the air.
Are we a PG related environment?
We are.
We're a
very
G, man.
You
All right,
don't
hey,
get Ricky
Monty
on the
came
show.
in and asked what we're talking about. He said we came in late. Monty, we're talking about you, man. We're talking about you.
We're always talking about you, Monty. The world. There's this one spot in the entire universe that everything.
It's Monty Island.
Everything gravitates around that one spot. It's Monty.
We didn't have to do Monty like that.
We
love you, Monty.
We're cutting up. You know, you're having fun when the natural. What's the word? Intrinsic.
Yeah.
Just things were just very natural right then. Man, what were we talking about?
The SNAP, why we stay with the fellowship. One of the most important reasons we're doing the recovery clinic is to be connected, to keep each other accountable, to have support, because there will be times where things will happen and we're going to rely on the fellowship.
Yeah.
We're going to rely on, we talk about putting our insurance policy, increasing our insurance policy by the things we do each day for our recovery in our life.
Service work.
Service work. And
That's my big
and
insurance
self-work.
policy. Yeah.
To know ourselves. Because let's face it, I may have been, sober for 13 years, you for over 5.
Yeah, it's
Doesn't mean addictions forgot our name. It's lost some good foot soldiers. There's a lot of people watching right now that were good foot soldiers to create negative ripples in the world. Now we're creating we're light workers, and there's some trip ups.
Yeah.
There's some hurdles out there.
Yeah.
And if addiction is going to find me in some weak moments, it's going to try, and it's not going to come at me with a bottle of vodka. It's not going to just here. It's going to come at me.
Returning to use starts way before we ever put the drink or jug in us.
Right. It's going to come at me in some different ways. And I always say this too. This is important. Addiction is like a board.
Yeah.
A group of members that want their only goal and mission is to separate me from you. And sometimes they make pretty good arguments. Sometimes they make convincing statements of why I should, take a day off. The worst thing that can happen to me, though, if I take a day off is what? Nothing. Did you know that? The worst thing that could happen if I take a day off from my recovery is nothing. That the sun's still out. Because then the next day, I'm going to take another day off. And the next day, I'm going to take another day off. And before I know it, a year down the road, I haven't worked on myself. I haven't been a part of any fellowship. I've been completely isolated. And then I'm in a garage alone, mourning the loss of my dad. And it's a different story if I found those pills.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to have foresight. And the only way I can find foresight is being a part of the fellowship.
Yeah.
Like being a part, talking to you, hearing what's going on in the recovery community.
Yeah.
That's how I've got a forgetter, man. I'll forget.
Yeah.
It's weird how that is, but that's just the fact.
That's good. So the recovery in life is full of those little what-if moments. You know what I mean? Like, what if Chris wouldn't have been rooted in his recovery? He would have ate the pills.
Not even a thought.
He wouldn't be here today. Yeah. He might be in the parking lot breaking in your car, but he wouldn't be in here. You know. Bad joke?
No.
Reality, wasn't it? I thought it was funny because I could relate to it. Oh, me. Let's see. Let's look at some comments, Chris. Let's see. You okay?
Yeah, I'm looking at Patty. Patty Lynn. It stays on your shoulder poking, saying, remember me? Remember me?
Jennifer Schuller said our endorphins kicked in.
That's right.
We were cutting up. Yeah, picking at Monty.
Hey, Ben Brown, this is when you say sorry again, can't be having that. We don't want to see a trend and a pattern, man.
Yeah. Hey, Tawana Greenlaw. Tawana is kicking butt. She's a peer over there at the hospital. Troy McGee's in here. Let's see. Shout out to Sherry Oyster, Patty Yeager, Tammy Camp, Wade Carter, Ashley Costa, top fan, Sherry Stevens, Karen Mosley, Jen Schuller, Lisa Hunt. We love all you guys.
Yeah,
man.
we thank you so much for joining us. We got to pick that word. I think we only got 3 words. So to recap what we were talking about earlier for those who have joined us, please like and share our page. We would love for you to follow us, and we're here 11 a.m. every Wednesday with engaging recovery discussions. One of the things that Jimmy and I are going to do, we're going to do a challenge, and we have asked you, the audience, the viewers, to give us a recovery-related word.
I cannot believe this dude called me out in a battle.
He's thinking I'm having one of those moments of insanity again.
Listen, you guys remember the drug take-back rap? Laura Monteverde did it. I wrote that whole thing. Drop it in the box. Listen, I'm going to hit him with some stuff just like that. Can I have your attention? How can prescription lead to addiction? A kid like Rick hurt his knee on the football field. Doc said, don't worry, you're going to heal. All you got to do is take these pills. But Doc didn't know that those pills kill.
So he is just giving you some flavor.
Hey, I'm finna go off like Michael Jordan in the 4th when he's 10 points behind, man. Going down.
All right, I love it. So we need you to give us a recovery-related word. So far, okay, and then we're going to each write a poem based on that word, give you guys different perspectives from where we're coming from, and then we're going to need your vote.
Tawana Greenlaw, give me a word, man.
So right now we have restoration, redemption, crossroads, pathways. Natasha says healing. Crystal says Slim Jim is in the house.
Oh, Skinny Jimmy. Skinny Jimmy. I don't feel so skinny in this shirt, though, man.
It's pressed.
It may be pressed.
It's starched and pressed,
That's
man.
what the problem is. It's pressing up against my stomach.
All right, out of those words, what do we want to do?
I don't know. I'm looking. Wait.
Why don't we do pathways? I think we can get pretty creative with pathways.
Pathways.
I mean, yeah, we get to talk about different pathways to recovery.
Pathways, sad days.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can rhyme that, but I'm going to come at you from a
Chris
different
is
angle.
sideways.
Sitting sideways.
I'm finna wrap him like a birthday, leave him scarred in the worst way, smoke him like an ashtray.
And hey, I'm going to be coming at you like some John Denver.
Oh Lord, what's that mean?
Folk song.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, well, the audience does.
Patty said, "Go Jimmy, go, go Jimmy, go." Wait, that's Johnny Be Good, ain't it?
I'm just being quiet. I'm going to wait and
Sherry
deliver.
said, "Draw your sword."
All right, so before we go, we need to tell them what word we're going to use.
I'm looking.
It's restoration, redemption, crossroads, pathways.
I like forgiven.
Where's forgiven?
Wade Carter said forgiven.
Is that what you want to do?
Forgiven still, yeah. I mean, it's important that you can immediately start finding, a perfect rhyme. So when it comes to rhyming, you got an imperfect rhyme, you've got a perfect rhyme, and you've got a slant rhyme.
Well, and for poetry, it doesn't necessarily always have to rhyme.
That would be a slant rhyme.
All right.
That would
You're
be
teaching me now.
similar sounding syllables that sound the same but do not match. A perfect rhyme would be jack and back.
Okay.
Something simple like cat and hat.
Let's do.
So I'm looking for something that
Let's do healing.
healing.
And
What?
you can use all roots of the word.
Feeling,
healing.
stealing.
Well, here you go. Healing, healed, or heal. You can use the root. You can use the whole deal, right?
Okay, let's
Is that what you
go.
want to do?
Healing. That's fine.
Congratulations to Natasha Tremaine.
Healing. We're
All
going
right,
to do healing.
we're using healing.
So I got to write. Okay, well we need to set up. What is it? How many bars is this going to be?
However many you need.
No, you need to keep it in a short form. You got 16 bars. That's 16
Well,
sentences.
we can decide that offline.
No, we're not going to do that. We're going to do that right now with 152 viewers.
You said it.
16 bars. That's 16 sentences. Okay. Now that means you can have a couplet, a triplet, or a quatron, right? Or an eternal rhyme, which is da 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 da, right? But you can't have a sentence that doesn't rhyme with another sentence.
Fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that word that ends that sentence has got to
That's
rhyme.
right. You heard it right here.
Yeah.
16 bars.
16 bars. This is barology. I'm coming back.
I'm thinking
as
he's talking
J-Bo
about
next week.
Megatron, Calvin
Who?
Johnson. He's talking about Quantron, Sally with the neutron, dipping in the Yukon.
Bars.
Here we
Bars.
go. All right.
Okay.
Thank you all so much for joining us. Are we done?
So,
I'm needing some harm reduction now.
Oh, yeah.
I think I may have just messed up.
Yeah, we're going to do it. I was just looking at the rest of these comments. Somebody said, oh, this is going to be good. Yeah, so we're getting ready to go shoot a commercial, right? We're getting ready to go shoot a commercial.
Hey, another thing I want you guys to do too is to think about for next week when song music is very important to me.
Recovery music.
Recovery
Facts.
music. Be thinking about what your favorite song or what your favorite lyric is that just kind of changes your day the second you hear it. We want to know what what your favorite recovery music is, or what music lightens your day. And so we're going to talk about that next week a little bit, and then we'll hit you with that next topic. We'll give you a little teaser here on Monday of what we're going to be talking about.
All right, yeah, and remember, if you're out there and you are suffering and struggling, please remember you don't have to do it alone. All you got to do is reach out, send us a message on the Recovery Clinic, follow our personal recovery stories on our Facebooks, Jimmy McGill and Chris Dickey. We love you guys. We want to be here for you, and we can make this show as good as it can be if we do it together. Please invite your friends to like the page, share the videos, help us spread the message of hope. And you know, with all the hate and negativity in the world right now, at the end of the day, love looks better. You know, so see you guys
And
next week.
we hope that you found that today.
Yeah, facts. See you guys next week.
Bye.